case you missed the conversation with Bike to My Roots, go on GTV Ghana on social media. You can find it. Emmanuel Akpo Ajay cycling across the world and across the country to raise awareness and funds to be able to equip our libraries across the Ghana communities and even rural Ghana. Now, Ghana will work better when we all play our part. You pay your TV license fee, you do your part today, you dial *447 *333# to pay. So pay your TV license today to support the state's broadcaster so that we can bring you all the content that you love. The time is now to play some Rand Lottery, the trusted lottery that gives you more chances to win big every single day. It's affordable, transparent, and rewarding. Rand Lottery puts you first. Now, here is the best part. With 3 daily draws, you never miss a chance. Start your morning with exciting morning draws. Keep the thrill alive at noon with the Star midday games. And then you can close the day in style with the Anacho Star draws. That's 3 opportunities every day, Monday to Sunday, to turn your dreams into reality. So don't wait, whether it's building that new home, supporting your family, or chasing your personal goals. Rand Lottery is the best lottery to stake. Join thousands of winners across the country and make your dreams a reality. There's a Thursday opportunity for you. Let me let you know that to stake, it includes the endowment, a Star Thursday and Agile Star, and all of that. So you can, find out more information with Rand Lottery. Now, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SSNIT, is reminding members and the public that they no longer need to visit any of its branches to access services. So with the introduction of the SSNIT virtual branch, members can conveniently access services remotely, anytime, from anywhere, using the SSNIT app or the USSD code *711 *9#. You can see it on your screen as well, or the SSNIT portal, snit.org.gh. Services available include member registration, benefit processing, updates of personal records, and general enquiries. So for seamless access to SSNIT's 24-hour virtual services, kindly call SSNIT at 030-2611-622 to interact with the team. SSNIT always delivers on its promise. If you're looking also to expand your business horizons while enjoying a world-class travel experience, here is something to note. The Vanuatu Business and Pleasure Tour 2026 is bringing together business leaders, investors, and professionals for a unique blend of strategic engagement and leisure. Participants will take part in business forums, networking sessions, and investment discussions, while also experiencing Vanuatu's rich culture, scenic islands, and tourism attractions. It is business with purpose and pleasure. Registration is currently open for the Vanuatu Business and Pleasure Tour 2026. Think business, think leisure, think Vanuatu. To register, call the Vanuatu Trade Commission Ghana on 0240-229-282, alternatively on 0544-626-905. Note, registration is on a first-come, first-served basis. How do you start your day, GTV Breakfast Show lovers? Well, if you haven't had your cup of Mixi Choco, you're truly missing out, I'll tell you. The rich new taste of Mixi Choco is crafted to brighten your mornings and keep you refreshed all day long. Everything you need is right in there. Just add hot water, stir, and enjoy a warm, comforting cup. Now, for the coffee lovers, if you like, a pinch of coffee, Mixi has something. A creamy, smooth coffee experience that keeps you energized for your everyday hustle. Honestly, just one sip and you will feel it. And guess what? There's more. They're introducing the new delicious Mixi Strawberry, a sweet, exciting addition, and one more reason to love Mixi. I'm sure the kids will love the Mixi Strawberry. Start your day the right way. Start it with Mixi. Mixi, almost say, cha no hot. So that's some information there for you. It's time for the newspapers. Let's look at what the big stories are on the front pages very quickly. The Daily Graphic carries Gamanche. Others meet King Charles at Commonwealth Day in London. Find it on page 13. Government revises public land sales structure. Oil price spikes from Iran conflict. Remove taxes on fuel to cushion consumers. This is what analysts are saying. Rates can unlock diaspora pension fund capital is what the SEC is saying, and that's the Gamanche Nitakite Kotro II with the King, King Charles III. The Chronicle carries Paramount Chief probes land guards activities in the Adan traditional area. Government unveils watertight land reforms to boost revenue. Osahin, no money for farmers, yet money for jets. And that's Osahin Alexander Afenyomakin, the minority leader. They're saying that U.S. strikes Nigeria from Ghana is a question. Minority demands answers. These are the big stories the Chronicle has carried. The Daily Guide has Mahama pushes for visa waiver with South Korea. The president is on a 5-day welcome visit, I believe, in South Korea. And that's him captured there as he arrived in Seoul. Minority quizzes government over U.S. airstrikes from Ghana. And the Honorable Samuel Abujinapo captured in that presser. 2 Ghanaians injured in Dubai drone attack. Over 500,000 youth apply for security jobs. And I think I did cite that the vacancies were only 5,000, yet over 500,000 applied. It's something I'm sure Thelma's guest will touch on. That's what the Daily Guide has. The BNFT, Shippers Authority steps in as war risk surcharges local businesses. Stanbic Bank, IFC and MasterCard collaborate to expand access to finance for female-owned SMEs. It's still Women's Month. International Women's Day was just recently, and so women SMEs. Government demands 70% upfront payment for public land leases, and Tema Oil Refinery defends ability to refine crude oil. That's the CEO captured there, Edmund Combat. And oil, it talks about plans to expand domestic processing of Ghana's oil. That's what the BNFT is carrying this morning. Oil shipping issues. So these are what the big stories are that Thelma and her guests will be bringing to you on this Thursday Ghana Month edition of the show. Over to Thelma for the discussion. Welcome back to GTV Breakfast. This is the headline segment, and we are talking some of the biggest stories of the day. Sami Superstar and that incredible band performing some authentic music that puts me in all the right vibes. So nakeshko nugara la febe body feel there's a Ga blood in you. Even if you don't have Ga blood and you're like my guest we might be introducing shortly, you still have to pick a few moves. And we are all going along with this. But hey, welcome to our show. And the big stories we'll be interrogating today, I'll bring them to you very shortly. But let me introduce my one guest at the table for now. Dr. Kweku Ananejende is a lecturer at the Gimpa Law School. He's also a corporate governance expert. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning.
The Ga music had entered your blood.
It reminds me of my GIJ days.
Hey, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about those GIJ days. But we'll get to those in just a moment. We've also extended the invitation to the Mr. Ibrahim Ishak Esquire, who is a member of the NPP's communication team. We're expecting Honorable Isifu Mahmoud, MP for Binduri, to be at the table. Unfortunately, both gentlemen are not here at the moment, but we'll get started with you, Dr. Jinde. And perhaps because this is you're the only one here,
Yesterday, the government, led by, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, condemned once again the ongoing tensions, but specifically this particular one at the Dubai International Airport, a drone strike which left 2 Ghanaians injured. And according to the statement, the families had been informed about the incident and the victims were being supported in any way possible with any help that they might need. And you can see the statement now on your screen from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Government of Ghana condemns drone attack injuring 2 Ghanaians in Dubai. The ministry has been informed by the relevant authorities in the United Arab Emirates that 2 Ghanaian nationals sustained injuries following a drone incident in the vicinity of Dubai International Airport earlier today, which was yesterday, 11th of March, 2026. The government of Ghana strongly condemns any act that endangers civilian lives and critical infrastructure, such incidents pose serious risks to public safety, and underscore the importance of ensuring the protection of civilians and vital international transport hubs. Ghana's ambassador in the United Arab Emirates has led a delegation of our embassy in Abu Dhabi and consulate in Dubai to visit the 2 injured Ghanaians in hospital. Their injuries are not critical and we expect full recovery soon. We therefore urge calm as we continue to extend consular assistance and collaborate closely with host authorities. The ministry is closely monitoring the situation and will continue to engage with the appropriate authorities as required. The government of Ghana expresses its concern over the incident and conveys its thoughts to the injured individuals and their families. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs reiterates the government of Ghana's commitment to the protection and welfare of Ghanaian citizens wherever they may be. The government of Ghana is actively supporting ongoing consultations within the UN to pass a resolution seeking a cessation of hostilities. The ministry is offering the necessary leadership and coordination with Ghana's diplomatic missions and will provide updates on the matter as and when the need arises. Government wishes to use this opportunity to reiterate its call for our nationals in the Gulf region to always exercise heightened vigilance and comply with directives from Ghanaian embassies and local authorities. So, busy days for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the wake of all that has been happening in this US, Iran, and Israeli impasse that is currently unfolding. You followed the story, I'm sure, and what do you think should be our next step? Because while some maintain that this war shouldn't go on for very long, at least the US President Donald Trump has said that this will not go on for very long. It's boosted investor confidence. The stock markets quickly, rebounded from the slam that it had taken over the weekend. Oil prices began to drop on the international front. Do you think that's the way we should go?
Well, Thelma, thanks for having me. You see, the statement you just read tells Ghanaians about one thing, that events in other parts of the world, whether we like it or not, could or can affect us. Because Ghana is on an island. Here in the case, we find some of our compatriots caught up in this incident. So whatever happens elsewhere, geopolitically, Ghana cannot pretend to be an island. This is an example of how the world has become interconnected and interrelated. So events in other parts of the world do affect us as a country. So I think the statement that the ministry issued, I think is well crafted. It's well crafted in the sense that they did not seek to apportion any blame to any faction within this crisis. So this is the position we should take. Because we as a country, we must also make sure that whatever position we take as far as this thing is concerned, that position to advance our national interest. Because international relations is about promoting your national interest. So anything that we will do to promote our national interest is what we should be focusing on and talking about. So I think the statement is well crafted. I'm glad that no blame was apportioned. I'm glad that the statement sounds very neutral and very matured, and then in terms of diplomatic language, it sounds very matured. And I think this is the way we should go. As far as the crisis in the Gulf region is concerned, I think what is happening now is that Americans themselves realize that they cannot fight, they cannot prolong the law longer, because when I think 2 days ago the price of crude oil went up all of a sudden until there was a statement from the White House, and then it reduced from 110 or 100 to 95. So Americans themselves realize that the longer they prolong this war, it's going to affect them. So it is in their best interest to find a way out. But you see, they are trying to find a very nice and diplomatic way of saying that, oh, we've achieved our aim, so we are going to end the war, or we are going to cease fire, or whatever. And you see, from the language of the U.S. president, even it went faster, and I expected it to be longer, but now I think it's going to be shorter than I thought. That's diplomacy. He's not going to capitulate and say, oh, we've not achieved our goals, our strategic goals, our political goals, our military goals. We have not. He's not going to say that. He's going to couch it in this diplomatic language and then tell the world that, well, we've achieved what we wanted to achieve. But in the first place, what was the strategic goal of America? Were they looking for a regime change? Or what was it about? Or just to reduce the capacity of Iran to also retaliate? These strategic objectives were not very clearly set out. So the Americans themselves are sort of in a sort of quagmire as to what the end game should be. It is only the president and his inner circle who are able to tell Americans, but at the moment they've not told Americans what the end game should be. So let's all wait and see. But I think this war has brought one thing to the fore. You see, the legal system that we operated, the international legal system that was established after the Second War, now it has been thrown to the dogs. Because if you read international law, it tells you that before you can invade any country, or the use of force, we can say it, the use of force, because before you can use force in any situation, it must be approved by the United Nations. But this one, we didn't get any approval from the United Nations. And the use of force becomes necessary when you are using it to defend yourself. There are certain conditions under which we can use force. But in this case, what we are seeing now, the international system that was established after the Second World War, now that rule-based international system is no more what we are seeing today. It's now if we are living in a world where the strongest survives. So
can we trust the UN to meaningfully intervene in the ongoing situation?
You see, the problem we have with the UN is that the time the UN was established in 1945, there were certain countries who were at the table at the beginning of the establishment. And these are members of the Security Council. There, the UN may be able to intervene, but the intervention can only come under Chapter 7. And when it gets to that place, one of the members, the security, the permanent members, if they say no, it cannot work. And these are the people who have the veto powers: United States of America, Britain, China, France, and then another country. There are 5 of them, the 5 permanent members.
So when we are talking about Ghana's response to this crisis developing in the Middle East, you mentioned that the tone of the minister's message is as it should be.
Yeah.
Some have come to criticize past press statements that has been released from the ministry, claiming that the minister's wording, his choice of words, may put Ghana in further danger in the back and forth, but what's happening in the Middle East, what happened in Nigeria. Honorable Blackwell's comments in Chatham House, which the minority is saying means that Ghana was used as a base to attack Nigeria and all that. From where you sit, is this tone, what do you think about the tone of the minister's press statements, including this one?
Well, you see, there was an earlier press statement. I think it was when it was in, I forgot, I've read that earlier statement. That one, I had some issues with it because in international diplomacy, as I said earlier, any statement that you make, you have to ask yourself, is it going to promote and then protect my national interest? That's what international relations is about. So the earlier statement, I think about 2-3 months ago, I saw that the position taken by the minister, to me, was not the right position diplomatically.
There are many who agreed with you, but many also say that as a country, we need to walk the talk and man up and say things for what they are. How do we balance that?
Well, you say things for what they are. How does it promote your national interest? It's about national interest. So you don't just say things before you think. In international diplomacy, you first have to look at your military might, your economic weight, how much weight you carry at the international level. So you don't just get up making statement, oh, because I think it's right. Yeah, it may be right. But diplomatically, is it going to promote your national interest? And international relations is about protecting and promoting your national interest. That is it. So I think whatever position we take, we should ask ourselves whether it's going to help us as a country. If it's not going to help us, we can forget it. Remember, a big country like America, they will tell you that, look, America has no permanent friends. They have permanent interests. So it's about the protection and promotion of American interests. So if you are doing that, why can't we do the same? Why can't we also think of our national interest first?
But can we?
Why not?
Can we do it?
No, well, you see,
looking at the partnerships that we've formed and the relationships that we've formed with our friends, as we call them.
Yeah. You see, the way we relate and interact with your friends will depend on, as a country, whether that relationship helps to promote your national interest. So the bottom line should be your national interest. Yes, I agree. Looking at the position in which we find ourselves, because we have partners, people who support us with funding for various projects. So you have to be able to maneuver your way throughout. So that as much as you may not want to offend your friends, but the fact that you are going to offend your friend should not reign supreme over your national interest. So that is why we need very mature people to man the foreign ministry. People with some experience, with some exposure, who will be able to maneuver this complex world of diplomacy. If not, you may not be able. It's not easy anyway. It's not very easy. But we need people who know how to manage international relationship, and then how to you see, diplomacy. Others will tell that diplomacy is hypocrisy.
Yeah,
if it is setting you,
it's
fine.
Not every time
it's
that you can say exactly what you're thinking.
So a colleague of mine who has been a UN diplomat for almost 20 years, he tells me, dog, diplomacy is hypocrisy. You just pretend that it's nice, it's fine, it's okay, you smile, although you are not very happy with it. Even the language they use, when they mean that, we've had very frank discussions, it means they had very serious disagreements.
I mean, just yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump and the FIFA president were talking about the possibility of Iran participating in the World Cup, and the president had said that they were free to participate because they had qualified. Only for us to hear a few hours later that the Iran team said there was no chance that they would be able to participate in the World Cup because of the events that have brought us to this point. And so that's where we are.
That's the decision of the Iranians. The Americans have opened their door that you can participate. We are not going to prevent you. You are still a sovereign state. You have your sport team. If they want to participate, they should participate. But it's up to Iran to determine whether they will take that invitation or not.
And whether their people, like you're saying, interests.
Yeah, if their national interest would be promoted by their participation. So it's about national interest. So if the Iranians think that, I'm not going to go to an enemy area with my players, my team, how sure am I that they are not going to be? Anyway,
okay.
So anything could have happened. So they are looking at their national interest and then they are acting accordingly.
So let's introduce another topic at our table, and this time is quite interesting. Some say it's job creation, others are not too sure. So it's about NACOC officially opening applications for cannabis licensing. The Narcotics Control Commission has, under a newly launched national, they've opened the applications for cannabis cultivation and management in Ghana under a newly launched national licensing regime. Part of efforts to develop a regulated industrial and medicinal. Those are the key things I want you to keep in mind. Industrial and medicinal cannabis industry while maintaining strict controls. So yesterday, the Minister for the Interior, the Honorable Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak, actually in February of this year, launched that licensing regime. The applications officially opened yesterday. So if you're interested in growing cannabis, let me take you through the list of what you can do. You can cultivate, you can breed, you can process, import, export, laboratory testing, storage, transport, distribution and sale, research and development, advertising and promotion. So there's a lot of room for this business. So you can apply for any of these value chains within the cannabis, medicinal industrial cannabis use system. And I just want to reiterate once again that recreational use of cannabis remains illegal in Ghana. Kenya can still like, oh, Shelley, we are mobile. So don't go and, my God, people will say, Shelley, it. Don't smoke it because that's still illegal. But the cannabis has to fall within certain parameters, and the scientists will break down all the only low THC cannabis, maximum 0.3% THC can be cultivated and what it all means. Dr. Jende, looking at what some people call the crisis situation we have with cannabis, and the fact that even though recreational use remains illegal, actual recreational use is actually very, very common. Can we impose, I mean we have, but can we maintain these strict guidelines as was launched in February by the Honorable Interior Minister, and as applications have opened, can we strictly monitor and control this space effectively?
You see, when I heard you read the guidelines, the first question I ask is, now, because as far as I'm concerned, there's a law against cultivation, use of, and the use of marijuana in this country. So my first question is,
for recreational use. So the Narcotics Control Commission Cultivation and Management of Cannabis Regulations 2023 LI 2475 is what is triggered.
Is what is so after the recreational use is still
illegal.
It's still illegal. Fine. And my other issue is we've also allowed room for imports, right?
In the list, yep.
In the list. I think that defeats the purpose of the whole thing, because I know
but
that
it requires proper documentation
to import it.
Yes,
I think
for medicinal and industrial use should just like we do in other things. So yes. I've read a few of the things on NACOG's website. If there is high demand for cannabis at the medicinal or industrial level, and we cannot grow enough to feed
so they are making room.
That demand,
they are allowing
then
room for that.
Perhaps that
that's
could.
Fine. So me, I think if you look at it generally all over the world, the marijuana industry is a multi-billion industry. And a lot of countries have benefited from it. Countries like Canada, United States of America, and the past 4 years, the Germans have also legalized it, including recreational use. And for Holland, they legalized it about 20, 40 years back. So you can go to any cafe in Amsterdam, and then you can buy your marijuana, and then you sit and you smoke. So it has been illegalized. It has been legalized. Sorry. And I think Ghanaians, we should not be hypocritical, whether we like it or not. I know certain areas, certain parts of this country where marijuana is cultivated on large scale.
I know a certain someone who is willing to give up their day job, go back to their home region and cultivate now under these new licenses. So he wants to do this legally before you come and say, Thelma knows somebody who is, I don't know. He wants to do this legally. Do you see the potential here for persons who may have been doing it illegally all this while to now go legit and then do this in the right?
Because I know a certain specific area. If you get to Wenchi, Nsoko, Time, the baby area there, they cultivate it, and They bag it. They carry like charcoal, but they get arrested every day. But they are also let go by the police. That one is a fact. So now that we've agreed that we need to cultivate them, we have a regulatory mechanism to ensure that we regulate it properly. I think it's a welcome decision.
So the eligibility to qualify for a cannabis license in Ghana, you must be 18 years or older, you must be a Ghanaian citizen or permanent resident, which means that there's room for non-Ghanaians to also be in there. You must ensure that corporate entities have at least 50% Ghanaian ownership, and you have a majority Ghanaian board of directors. The general requirement, and I'm reading from NACOC's website, you have to have property documentation, so a lease or title deed, national identification, which is the Ghana card or passport, financial information forms, so your bank statements, the list of persons with financial interest, those who are willing to invest in your company, police clearance certificates, business formation documents, a security plan, a tax clearance certificate from GRA, SNIT registration, standard operating procedures, SOPs, personnel certification, and then record keeping documentation. You have to get all these things. And there are specific requirements for all the subcategories that are coming under this. So there are specific requirements for cultivation and breeding, processing and lab, transport and storage, research and development, import and export. So no individual company is authorized to use or facilitate cannabis licenses. No individual or company. And of course, we say again, recreational use is still illegal. You should always verify the information. So there's a lot of information on NACOC's website, but you are looking at the requirements and who qualifies and all that. What do you think?
You see, Ghana sometimes, the way we register companies, the way we do things, the bureaucracy is too much. Assuming that I have a piece of land at Nilongro in my hometown, and I want to cultivate my marijuana. I'm not going to process it. I'm not going to do anything with it. I just want to grow it and then allow people to come and buy and then go and then do whatever they want.
So that's the cultivating license.
Cultivation. So all these requirements, GRA, what and lease, because in our village, the land that my father bequeathed to me, there's no lease on that land. So where do I get the lease?
Register the lease.
Oh my brother.
Register for a title. Because and that brings also into yesterday the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources announced the temporary lifting of the suspension on the public lands. But let's finish with the NACOC situation. I only raised it because you talked about land titles.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a start, because all along we knew that people were cultivating it on large scale anyway. So now that we've allowed cultivation and then other processes, I think we are now being realistic. Formerly, we used to pretend that, we don't grow cannabis in Ghana, it's not allowed, but people were doing it. But now that we've come to the realization that, look, we cannot continue to pretend like the provincial upstream, which pretends that there's nothing wrong, while there are a lot of things going wrong. So now that we've opened it and then we've allowed the perimeter within which you can grow, cultivate, or whatever, it's a good thing. But Thelma, my problem is Ghana. We've had cocoa. We've had gold. We have oil.
Could this overtake cocoa, gold, and oil?
No, let me tell you. You see, it doesn't matter the number of resources you have. If leadership is not prepared to make judicious use of the resources, we can add cannabis, we can add lithium, we can add everything under the sun. If leadership is not prepared to make judicious use of what we have, we can forget it. I'm not being pessimistic. You know, I'm a perpetual Afro-optimist. But if you look at our situation now, we shouldn't be where we are today, Thelma. Be honest with me. Be very honest. So, it's a good thing, it's a good addition, but I don't think it's going to solve our problem. Because when we discovered oil, I can remember the euphoria. We are going to buy fuel for 1 Ghana cedis. Even they are going to give us free of charge. All the noise that we made. Where are we now? That's what Bob Marley said. In the abundance of waters, the fool could be thirsty. You can stand in the middle of the black water. So you feel thirsty. You ask people, come and give me water. Meanwhile, you are standing in the middle of the black water because you have failed to use your mind.
Maybe the black water is not
No, no,
water that
I'm
you
just
can drink?
no, I'm just making a general statement. You can be standing in the midst of a very clean water or thing or
In the midst
whatever,
of plenty.
but still you can feel thirsty because you fail to use your brain. That's why I think Ghana we are now, but it's not lost. Let's add it to one of the products that we are going to export and get more foreign exchange. But tell me, sometimes you get depressed. Looking at our situation, what we've seen, certain countries that do not have even 1/3 of what Ghana has, but how they are performing as a result of the commitment of leadership to provide proper leadership, provide dedicated and patriotic leadership. We don't have it. Now, if you look at the political terrain, which of the leaders can you tell that can influence the youth? Who did they look up to as an inspiration? We had Kwame Nkrumah. We had Jerry John Rawlings. We had Kufuor. But now look at our political terrain.
But all the names you've mentioned, at some point in time, some people found the need to also question their leadership, to question their governance style, to question the decisions that they made whilst they were in power.
Yeah, but I agree. But these leaders that I mentioned, they inspired people. I didn't see Kwame Nkrumah, but I read a lot about him. And then I also saw what Busia did through his rural development program. And I also saw what Jerry Rawlings did, how he mobilized the students when Ghana was very low. We all went to the cocoa growing area to carry cocoa because the man was an inspiration. Went to the railway line, Choboy, he was helping repairing the railway line. You see, you could see that inspiration among Ghanaians. But now, what do we see? No leader in this country inspires the youth. I've been dealing with the youth, and I also teach. I have students I relate and interact with on daily basis. They don't see any inspirational leader in this present dispensation. I'm sorry. But that is the reality. If you see any inspiration, any leader who inspires you now in the political terrain, tell me.
I'm inspired by a number of them.
Okay, that's fine.
But I'm eager to hear your thoughts on the matter. So let's move on to other stories. Yesterday, like I said, and just as an addition to what we've been talking about, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources lifted the temporary suspension on transactions involving public lands, and it now allows the Lands Commission to resume processing leases, allocations, and related services, but under, once again, just like in the NACOC situation, new stricter rules meant to improve transparency and prevent undervaluation of state assets. So what government actually announced was that the suspension on public land transactions, which was put in place temporarily, had been lifted with immediate effect. It means, what can the Land Commission do now that it wasn't able to do during the time of the temporary imposition of the suspension? They can begin processes to lease public lands, applications for public land allocations, regularization of existing public land holdings, other administrative services, of course, as it relates to state land. And we heard the Honorable Deputy Minister, Alhaji Yusuf Suleimana, during the briefing on reforms in the public sector land administration system. So some key new rules have been introduced. 70% upfront payment for leases, based on the assessed market value upfront. So if you want to buy public land, 70%. The remaining 30% will be paid as ground rent over the lease period. What do you think about this directive?
I think when I read it in the newspapers, 70% upfront payment. You know, some of these lands, when they are leased to people, they use it for commercial purposes. And the amount of money that you need to invest. So that if I have to invest so much, 70%, that's a lot. How much will be left for me to invest? So sometimes when leadership, politicians make some of these decisions, they should try to put themselves in the shoes of the ordinary Ghanaian. But if you are a politician who takes home 35,000 every month, this one should not be a problem. But if it's an individual who is just beginning to start,
I've heard people argue that whereas in the past, the undervalued state lands were sometimes given to people
almost free of charge.
70% upfront would ensure that some value is put on the land, and a payment is made. I've heard an argument. So that argument suggests, not I am suggesting, the argument by those who hold that view suggests
that. So the 70% upfront payment is a cure of the undervaluation that happened.
If some people were getting some of the state lands, from what the critics are saying, for almost free, so at almost no cost at all, then does the 70% offer a better value for money?
So the payment of the 70% is it not going to be managed and then handled by Ghanaians? So if that same person can undervalue a piece of land, what is the guarantee that it's not the 70% to something cannot be done about it? So you see, it all boils down to our mindset. And I always tell people that, look, whatever we do, we have to have it at the back of our mind that we have a country to build. So you can have all the best laws in place, but if the people implementing those laws are not patriotic, they are not committed to the cause of the Ghana agenda, I think we might as well forget it. But, well, government has come now with that. Let's see how it's able to cure the undervaluation. But I have my doubts.
You don't think it will work?
No, I have my doubt. Okay. And apart from that, it's too high.
70% is too high.
If there had been 50 or 60% or 20% upfront payment, fine. But 70%, in my candid opinion, is above board.
Here is another rule that has been introduced. Now there's a ministerial approval required. It means that no public land can be allocated without written approval from the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. And some say this introduces an additional layer of political oversight. And I ask again, does it cure the previous ill?
See, it is even going to make it worse. The moment you involve politicians, these are purely technical issues.
Even if it's political oversight?
No. That's why we have the technocrats at the Lands Commission. Why do you want to take that role from them? Even you, the minister signing the document, do you even understand the technicalities involved?
But mineral licenses are
well, I know, but that's where we've gotten it wrong. I think that these matters should be left to the technical and then the technocrat and then the bureaucrat at the Lands Commission. But if you ask the politician, politicians, they always abuse every situation. They would always abuse it, you can be sure. So I think the addition of the minister as the person to oversee, I think is going to even bring more corruption and political interference and political patronage.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
not going to cure it. It's not going to cure it.
So there'll be a standard national application form. So the public land application form, which is called Form 5, will now be the mandatory instrument nationwide for all public land transactions, and it will also be available online for electronic submission. And the Lands Commission will publish market values of public lands across
the country.
Yes.
Okay, then I think it's a good thing. It's a welcome development. But the Land Commission, I've had some dealing with Land Commission. My sister, sometimes the rot going on at Lands Commission, you can't imagine. But it's another discussion for another day. So if they will do the right thing, I think it's a welcome development. But the value, is it going to be determined by a bureaucrat sitting in Accra or the Land Commission officer in Kintampo? Who is going to make that determination?
I'm sure a valuer.
A valuer, okay.
Some kind of professional.
I agree, some kind of professional. But remember, the value of land in Kintampo cannot be the same as the value of land in Accra. So I hope they come up with more clearer and then proper guidelines to guide them. Because if you have to allow a bureaucrat to sit in Accra to make the valuation, it will be a problem. So let's also decentralize it. I think Land Commission, they have their offices across the country. And some of them, I must say, especially those in Kintampo, they are doing a very good job. I've had personal interaction with them. I think they are doing fine. I can't speak for the other parts of the country, but I think in terms of the valuation and the value they put on the piece of land, they should decentralize it. They should give the district officers enough room. You don't tell them that, okay, you do the valuation in Kintampo, bring them to Accra for Accra to approval. You sitting in Accra, do you know that land between Babatokuma and Kintampo? Do you know where it is located? You don't. So they should give them full autonomy to operate.
Okay.
There should be some oversight rule. But the officer sitting in Accra should not be the person determining the value of land in Kintampo. That's my position.
Does the addition of a public land protection task force offer you some comfort? That a certain task force will be going around. It will include people from the Lands Commission, the security agencies, and relevant ministries will be coordinating this monitoring process.
To do what? What are they going to do?
They go around public lands, inspect them, make sure that everything is above board in compliance with these new guidelines.
So this task force, when they come to my piece of land, maybe I've acquired a public land somewhere, and then this task force, when they come, what are they going to be doing? Doesn't mean that you don't trust the system that allocated that land to me, or what is it? This task force thing. Because me, anything called task force for me, I don't like anything associated with force.
To ensure compliance with the laid down regulations, reforms that have been announced.
So there's no compliance at the moment. Are we saying that there's no compliance regime? Is that it? So we need another task force to go around to inspect. Hey, Kwekwanane, bring your document for this piece of land. When did you acquire it? Did you pay the 70% upfront? Is that how it's going to operate? I can't get it. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I simply don't understand it. What exactly they will be doing?
I mean, this was just announced yesterday, so perhaps in the coming days we'll get the opportunity to get further
and better
details.
Particulars.
We'll bring all the pink sheets so that we can interrogate them. But of course, there's a background to all of this. Key among them include the concerns or allegations of state lands being sold below market value, politically exposed persons acquiring prime lands cheaply, multiple allocations of the same land to many people, encroachment on state lands. GBC has some personal stories, but we'll shelve that for now. And the review process is meant to examine, make sure that the thousands of land applications are examined, and the leases are also put to some scrutiny to detect irregularities. So digitalization is also big on the agenda. Dr. Jinde, if you have some last comments to spend on this topic, then I'll introduce my next conversation.
To correct some of these anomalies in the system, they are welcome, but we should make sure that we don't add an additional layer. It's a good step, but let's ensure that the people who are going to do it do the proper thing. It should be like business as usual, because the Land Commission, I have a lot of issues at the Land Commission. Yeah, I have a lot of issues with the Land Commission. And my personal experience has taught me that the people working at the Land Commission should sit up, they should be up and doing. And I also recommend that they shouldn't allow them to stay at a particular place for too long, because they become too familiar and sometimes they compromise. So this is my only advice. But the Land Commission, I have some issues with them. Maybe one day we'll talk about it.
Perhaps we will, and we can
we'll talk about it, because it's about that compensation. And when we're asking for the Bui Power compensation, the experience I got, the Bui Power you took to construct the Bui Power at that area, in that area, Kufuor acquired the land through the executive instrument in 2006. Do you know that up to now, government has not paid the compensation? Yeah, government has not paid. But at least the present government, they are listening. We went to court for 6 years. Land Commission begins. Sometimes they go to influence people from outside the area. Also go and put in a claim. Oh, there are multiple claims. We went through all that, and then the court ruled in our favor. Unfortunately, there was a change of government. But at least this new government is listening. The previous government, you want to engage with them. We've got a court judgment, all right. You want to engage with previous government. They don't even mind you. You write to Minister for Finance, chief director, they will just treat you with contempt.
But why has the state been unable to protect its own land? And when those lands have come, ownership have come into question, why has there historically been that hesitation?
Under the compulsory acquisition, the Constitution allows the president to issue an executive instrument to acquire land compulsorily for public purposes and for public use. So that was, and it was under this, the Compulsory Acquisition Act, that Kufuor, president, acquired that piece of land for the Bui Power Project. He did the right thing, but we had to go through the valuation. But at a point, the Land Commission, they were contesting the values. So we were in court for 6 years. Finally, the court ruled that, look, Land Commission, you have to pay them. You see, the problem is, the value that was given, Land Commission, they gave the values. When you don't pay, interest accrues. Now the interest is nearly half of the amount of money they were supposed to pay. But at least when this government came, we engaged them, they are listening. At least there's been some movement and some. So we just hope and pray that this government will pay. Because that area, President Mahama comes from that area, Bole Bamboy area, those lands there, and then Banda, Asedun Ketia also come from that area, Banda, Ahinkro, and all those things. All the chiefs, you see, when we started, 5 of the chiefs have died. And the chiefs are crying. They are begging President Mahama to have sympathy on us, and then at least, if you give us, you just come to some agreement. If you can make part payment, we understand, we appreciate the challenges that the present government is facing. At least they should engage us so that we can agree on a payment plan. We can pay 1 quarter this year and then spread it over a period. But at least I must commend this government, because they are listening. They are treating our people with respect and some decor. This is what I would say.
Okay.
But the past government, they treated us with contempt. Total disrespect. You write letters, they don't respond. You send messages, they don't respond. They treated us as if we were pieces of wood. You know, this one, it causes a lot of apprehension. One time, one of the chiefs was asking me that, oh, Doc, Anka, just say me, he said in our language, if that happened in another region, would they be treating us this way?
Let's welcome Mr. Ibrahim Ishaq Esquire, a member of the NPP's communication team, to the table. Very late to the table, but here nonetheless. We've talked about the 2 Ghanaians who were wounded in the Dubai drone strikes. We've talked about NACOC opening applications for cannabis cultivation and management licenses. We are now talking about the lifting of the temporary suspension on transactions involving public lands. I guess at this time, I'll give you the opportunity to wrap us up so that we rise from this conversation.
Thank you very much. My apologies for coming late. Though I wasn't late, I forewarned Philip that I was already assigned elsewhere. So nevertheless, I've made it. And good morning to you. Good morning to your viewers. Well, I mean, as to the Ghanaians who were struck by the drone in Dubai, I mean, if you look across the world, everybody believed that this was an unnecessary war. It's a war of choice chosen by President Trump because he's a superpower. They think they can bully every country into submission. And it's very clear, even in the United States Constitution, it's unlawful. Congress has to give approval before the president can even command soldiers to war. And international law is very clear. Under Article 2.1 of the United Nations Charter, it's very clear that the use of force or the threatened use of force or the actual use of force is unlawful unless you are self-defending or unless the Security Council approve it. None of this is happening. The threat that they claim Iran posed was imminent. So the rest of the world, we are all suffering because one country have made a wrong choice. And so all that we could say to Ghanaians, we are very sorry. Let's keep working hard. You never know. One day we might be a superpower that we could say no to any country that tries to do unlawful act. And somebody who is interested in international law, I'm quite interested in that particular aspect. So we hope they are doing well, and we hope the foreign ministry should reach out to every Ghanaian, any part of the world, who is needing that help. I think that's just the best we can do. And then to make sure that we work with the United Nations family to make sure that we are able to hold even the superpower to account somehow. The narcotics one, I miss it, but I think, I mean, you can see the trend around the world is changing. Was contrary to the claim that cannabis used to be a proper drug in a sense that it can impact on your mental health.
It still is.
I would disagree and agree with you. I don't want to call myself an expert. Aside being a lawyer, I'm also a qualified nurse, and I'm qualified in mental health. So yes, we have substance-induced psychosis, but it's not every substance that is actually causing psychosis. That means that you already have the pre-existing conditions that substance can impact. But if you look at elsewhere, like California, some parts of the country, now doctors can even prescribe cannabis as a form of anesthesia. So anesthesia is like a form of painkiller. So it's not bad as we used to think in the past, whereby if you were arrested by cannabis, it was like a death sentence.
Recreational use is still illegal in Ghana.
Yeah, I'm not encouraging it at all. But I remember almost 15, 20 years ago, Britain was already ahead. They made it that only those who were possessing to supply would have been in trouble. But if you are using it for personal use, usually they don't take action at all. Maybe the police will just give you a warning. But it's high time we also change. I mean, the science has changed. That alcohol is actually dangerous than cannabis. Why are we not banning alcohol? Is it because of the Floodgate argument? I mean, the science is very clear. Alcohol is dangerous than cannabis. So why are we banning cannabis but not alcohol?
So we're talking about it being used for medicinal and industrial purposes.
Yes,
so, like you're saying, a doctor can prescribe it for you, that is fine.
Yes.
And if you're using it in industrial hair products and whatever, that is also fine. It's the regulation, making sure that this legal machine is not co-opted into an illegal venture.
Yes. So what I was just saying, that I wasn't encouraging recreational use, but what I was condemning was the total ban. We've done it over the years. It's not today some people have legalized the cultivation of cannabis. Nevertheless, as I said, we have substance-induced psychosis, meaning that if you are using it recreationally and you are not careful and you already have maybe you are prone to schizophrenia simply because it is in the family gene. So you are more likely to have the substance-induced psychosis. But where if we follow the science and elsewhere they are allowing the cultivation of it, of which we can even sell them to pharmaceutical companies. And if you're able to put this regulation into proper use, of which people can earn income on that, and we control it so that people can just use it as they want because of the few people who have this predisposed risk of inducing this psychosis, I think it's a good thing. Because it's not everything, because if the numbers who are likely to be affected are few, why impose such a ban and allow alcohol, which actually poses an actual risk? So maybe we're just doing it because of interest.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for being a part of this conversation.
Yes.
Even though you did...
but I just needed to point something.
Impact.
Before I just arrived, he was just pointing finger at the MPP. I think I deserve to correct something.
Well, we've run out of time, so perhaps at another opportunity we will do that because we have some commercial obligations that we would have to go for. I'm so sorry about that. Ibrahim Ishaq Esquire is a member of the NPP's communications team, and Dr. Kweku Anani Jinde is a lecturer at Gimpa Law School and also a corporate governance expert. Dr. Jinde, thank you for the time. Noble, thank you as well. I will look forward to having you again at the table. It's another opportunity. Excellent. So 2 lecturers at my table, inspiring me to also be a lecturer. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. We'll take a quick break and we'll get some comms along the way and we'll be back shortly.
Thursday morning, and we are here to crown your efforts of playing the game. Good morning and welcome to Rand Lottery. Today's game is Rand Cash for Life. We are live on GTV and also streaming live on all our social media platforms. YouTube, it is Rand Lottery Limited. Facebook and IG, it is Rand Lottery Limited. TikTok and X, it is Rand Lottery Limited. Then on our website, full of surprises. And with Rand Lotto, you never know what's around the corner. Whether you are chasing a dream, planning a vacation, or just looking for a little luck, Rand Lotto is here to help you turn chance into cash. All Rand games are available on our POS terminals nationwide. Play more and win big. For enquiries about Rand Lotto, kindly contact us on 055-855-9064. It is time to turn the cities into thousands. Let's invite the operations manager of the NNA, Mr. Patrick Odro, to help with the inspections of the balls. The inspections of the balls is for the integrity of the game, and Rand Lotto is committed to fairness and transparency. All Rand games are available on our POS terminals nationwide. Remember, this game is rated 18 years and above. Please do play responsibly. Play more and win big. You can play as low as 1 cedi. The 1 to 90 balls are set and we are ready to carry on. Let's invite the first volunteer to help us draw the first winning number. Thank you. The first winning number is 20. The second volunteer, please. Thank you. The second winning number is 43. The third volunteer, please.